Hey everyone, my name's Antonio, but you can call me Ultra. I'm a proud dad of three, bank manager by day, and streamer and content creator by night. In early 2005, that's when I started streaming after the birth of my daughter, and I've wanted to blend my love of anime, video games, and authentic connection to build a community called the Ultra community, a space where people can be 110% themselves.
Hi, hello, welcome everyone. I'm Watch Holly. This is Liltrainerultra. We're going to talk about season 4 of offline growth and how do you grow on Twitch when you're not streaming. Ultra, go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so just really new to the streaming community. I actually hit affiliate after a month of streaming thanks to a lot of mentorship from this amazing Discord that I'm a part of. I love studying, love learning, so watching peers like yourself, and then of course the millions out there. Let's just say it really assisted in getting me out of breaking my shell where, I was thinking, oh, they're going to judge and, this and that. But thanks to you and others, I finally was able to go over 9,000 and, with my material and content. And really the next step for me is consistency and climbing that partner mountain.
Yeah, it's definitely a mountain to climb, that's for sure. Congrats on the birth of your daughter. Holy crap. When did you say that she was born?
February 4th, she's 3 months years old. 3 months. Yeah, I always get that mixed up. But 3 months. Yeah, our first daughter. Her name is Gianna or Gigi, right? So yeah,
Gigi.
she's daddy's little princess. That's for sure.
Oh my God! Congratulations. That's so sweet. All right, so let's talk about offline content there for a second. Do you post on social media at all? And what's your offline content strategy in order to grow on Twitch?
Yeah, I'd say TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels have been huge for my growth. Short form storytelling, relatable moments from my streams, really helps resonate with most of my audience. And then especially humor, of course, like everyone's got a funny bone. And just, to top it all off or icing on the cake, just authenticity. That's really what the people are looking for. You can't fake it out here. And then more like the biggest obstacle, this guy.
Yeah, right.
You judge yourself, you're your worst nightmare. The list goes on of how many analogies or dad jokes I can make about that. But truly now that really resonates with me is I post from the heart and I just send it. I'll do the edits, I'll do the fine tuning, but it's coming from me. I'm not paying somebody. It's just raw and authentic.
Yeah, definitely. And then can you kind of walk us through your content pipeline? How do you start posting on socials?
Yeah, so I use a lot of tools, so Opus Clips, VMake, Cintra, TikTok, just some of their editing platforms. And then I usually mark timestamps during my VOD review and then edit them, captions, effects, platform trends, just something to get the ball rolling. And then usually my turnaround time is about 1 to 2 days. Being a dad of three, schedule's kind of hard, but I got Sundays and Monday evenings, which is really awesome. And with my full-time job as a bank manager, we've been really incorporating AI. So I've also started incorporating AI just for work on scheduled posts, because sometimes life gets in the way and your fans don't.
Yeah, no, definitely. How do you use AI to schedule posts?
Yeah, so the platform I just found out was called Cintra, and not sponsored or anything, just saying what it is. I've done the reviews and research, but it's like a little buddy, and I have 12 of them. And they said, hey, there's a huge open window where you could be posting right here, and that's kind of like through surveys, through testing from their, brainstorm, pool of information that I should be posting during that time. So it's just a nice little, hey, did you post today?
Oh, I like that. And is it free?
Well, there's a discount right now. That's I was like, should I pay for it? And it was worth the investment. I've seen a huge uptick, and I know that's one of the questions down the way, but I've seen probably a 2,000 plus increase of interactions on all of my platforms with just having scheduled posts, and it's been not life-changing yet, right?
Right.
But it's more of a mindset changer where it's like, okay, I got to keep going here.
Definitely. It gives you some good feedback. Yeah, we can definitely get into that because I know we have more questions along the way. So let's talk about how often that you post, and maybe this comes into play with what you just referenced with the AI, but how frequently do you?
Yeah, so I've done some surveys just personally, asked myself what I want. And I found the sweet spot of 3 to 5 short form posts across, TikTok, Instagram, and then a weekly highlight reel on my YouTube shorts. Consistency, location, right? That will help build momentum. but the quality and relatability will really, move that needle. And my personal slogan is, I like finding one dreamer at a time. So with me, expressing who I am in my content, hopefully my relationships will get better 1% a day, and then same with my overall community growth will get better 1% a day.
Yes, definitely. And what's your best performing piece of content, and why do you think it worked?
Yeah, I had to change. I was like, what should I do? But my first, clip was my most expensive. So it was like my Pokemon collection, games, devices, stuff like that. But recently I posted a video with my 2-year-old son, and I showed him the Kingdom Hearts 1 opening. So he was just blown away, drooling, eyes wide open, list goes on. And he throws my PlayStation 5 controller, so we just, scratch letting him hold that. But now we gave him a broken Switch controller.
Yeah.
So he'll just pop up right next to me and be like, "Dada, game," and we'll just have fun. But yeah, he did not talk the whole opening, and he's like, "Mickey, friends," and then that was kind of the end of the video that I edited out. But yeah, he's a really good little dude. Yeah.
So do you think that just like tugged on the heartstrings of people's, and that's why it was like your best content?
Oh yeah, I remember I was like 12 watching my older cousins play Kingdom Hearts on the PS2 the first time, and it just hit me, seeing Sora with the Keyblade and unlocking people's hearts and just all that. I'm like, dang, give me a Keyblade. I'm trying to unlock people's hearts. I'm trying to build like a Justice League of friends who can't lose, like where's my heal, or where's my shield, just stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that's so sweet. Let's talk about, other than posting on social media, what do you personally do to grow on Twitch when you're not streaming?
Yeah, so I'm a huge networker. My wife says I can talk to anybody about anything. So, if you want to talk about just some random topic, throw it against the wall, we'll see if it sticks. But I really try to network. I really try to collaborate. And then I show up in people's chats at, my Discord and personal friends. And I also support their content. So the reposting, tweeting at them, stuff like that. And then I really, really value the one-on-one connection, just because, you really get to see people versus, what they're just posting online for everybody to see. And kind of the inside joke with my buddies from college is I tell people I have the personality like Goku, but the optimism like Luffy.
Oh
so
my God.
Usually starts some sort of conversation.
Yes.
Not as strong. I don't want to toot my own horn, but more of like I dream too much. Like, what is it? One project in college was, what was your business idea? And mine was to put a hotel on the moon. And it's always still been a dream, just because why not? No one's done it and no one's tried it, so you can't tell me nothing, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a Luffy comment, I feel. Oh, that's so great. All right, so we referenced it a little bit earlier about tools that you use. Let's dive a little bit deeper. Tell me more. Any other tools that you use to get content out there?
Yeah, so I stated some of the main ones, Opus, VMake, TikTok, list goes on. But I was going to end with, you don't need all the fancy pants gear, but I did just update my setup. So I went from a gaming laptop to a custom built PC by Meta PC. Van Halen, it's got all the bells and whistles, fans, and I'm just a noob. So I'm like, ooh, pretty colors. I really just want this PC. But being able to actually run my overlays, being able to run just my alerts, like that just really, really helped me out. So having the power to run what I want to create for my friends, family, and fans, that's been the huge advantage. But I'd say just trust yourself, trust your content, and then post it, because the Twitch arena is like a Thunderdome, and if you're not ready to take the haters or just take the weird spammers, just let it roll off and trust you. Don't let other people affect you.
Definitely. And when you do edit and use all those insert programs here, do you add a hook to your videos at all?
I'm trying to learn how. That's why it's more of like the learning. Like I just got thumbnails down. I'm trying to do like the intro. Like I still have to do my intro on the purple app here, but I haven't put the picture yet. I have the idea, but it's just finding the right storytelling, and that's been kind of like my pain point or my Achilles heel, because I don't want to be too generic, and then I don't want to be flooded with everyone else who's trying to have fun doing this. I want everyone to, of course, have their spotlight, but I got to do something to really stick out with how big Pokemon and anime niches are with streamers.
Yeah, that's very true. So after you post all of your content with TikTok and Instagram and all of those places, do you analyze your analytics afterwards?
Oh yeah, I try to at least give myself an hour after the stream just to decompress, hang out with the kids, kiss my wife, just that normal stuff to do to kind of revive yourself, because it's a switch. But I try to do not, what's that movie? Where he sees all the equations. I try to not go crazy, but I am aware of the upticks, downticks, and that plateauing, and VODs. I'm learning how to do hook times, like you mentioned before, and then of course retention and kind of repurposing those clips later.
Okay, perfect. And then my second to last question is, when you do post on TikTok or Reels and social media, do you use like the trending sounds, or do you look at the trends and try and copy those?
Yeah, I'd say I'm definitely a copy and paste, but at the same time, I see what is trending, and we might have to throw that in there just to stay relevant. But I really look for those selective sounds. Favorite artists that no one really knows about, something that's from maybe looking at a beautiful landscape and no one would touch it just because it's more of a landscape, and put that into a streaming or put that into an IRL stream. Like I have a birthday next weekend, and we're gonna be on a boat in Palm Beach, Miami area, right? The big 3-0. But I wouldn't use a rage, don't take that type music.
Yeah.
I would do something else that'd be more of like a tranquil, like Odessa, or what's another, like a throwback from 2013, like XXYXX,
Yeah.
like that old, like not say reefer vibes, but just the chill vibes.
Right. Okay. Nice. And my last question is, do you have any advice to any other streamers trying to break into short form content?
If I can hire Shia LaBeouf and just say, just do it, just do it for those streamers out there.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what my main advice would be. But start small, stay consistent, be real. Don't need fancy gear, but of course get what you need. I'm very biased. And then clip what's relatable. And then in 2025, just be unapologetically yourself. Have your own personal twist on your content. Engage in your community and niche. And you're good. Just rinse and repeat. Don't get confused with making cookies, but it's a pretty easy recipe to follow.
Perfect. All right, Ultra, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. It was such an honor.
Yes. Okay, we're going to say goodbye to YouTube, and then I'll say goodbye to you right afterwards, okay? All right, perfect. Well, thank you. Make sure to check out Liltrainerultra, and we'll see you later. Bye, YouTube.